Most people will be familiar with that feeling when the month is still going, but your money is already finished. Now imagine staring at your retirement statement and thinking, if I can just take a little bit of this, I can breathe again. For years in South Africa, many people did something drastic. They resigned from their jobs, not because they hated the work, but because that was the only way to unlock their pension fund. That's the problem the government tried to solve, which is how we got one of the biggest changes to the retirement system in decades, the two-pot system. On paper, it sounds simple. You can tap into a slice of your retirement money before you retire, while the rest stays locked away for your future. In practice, it's a lot more complicated. And how you use it could be the difference between a comfortable retirement and a hard one. In this episode, I'm going to unpack how the two-pot system actually works, how people are already using it, and what the numbers say about withdrawing now versus leaving it for later. Because this is not just a policy change, this relates to your future income. On 1 September 2024, South Africa hit reset on how retirement money works. From that date, every rand that you contribute into a pension fund, provident fund, or retirement annuity is split into three buckets. Bucket 1 is the savings pot. This gets 1/3 of all your new contributions, and you can access this before retirement with some rules. Bucket 2 is the retirement pot. This gets the other 2/3 of the contribution. You cannot touch this till at least age 55. And then bucket 3 is the vested pot. This holds everything you saved before 1 September 2024. And this stays exactly the same as under the old retirement rules. Something important happened on the first day. The government allowed a once-off seed transfer into the savings pot, up to 10% of your pre-September balance. This was limited to 30,000 Rand. So if you had 200,000 Rand saved, 20,000 moved to your savings pot. If you had 750,000 in your pension fund, you would have hit the cap at 30,000. It's not happening again in the years after 2024. Only 1/3 of new contributions plus that growth feeds the savings pot from here. Here's how the accessible pot actually works. Rule 1, frequency. You can only draw from your savings pot once per year. The second rule is the minimum amount. Is you need at least 2,000 Rand in your savings pot to make a withdrawal. Rule 3 is the maximum amount. There's no cap. The limit is whatever sits in your savings pot. So rule 4 is tax. Any withdrawal before retirement is taxed at your normal income tax rate. So this tax on top of your salary, so you will pay tax at your marginal tax rate. So a lot of people would have seen if they draw 30,000, they might only get 20,000 after tax. And then the fifth rule is legal blockers. There's divorce orders, maintenance claims, or employer claims that can stop a withdrawal. Housing loan guarantees also limit how much you can take. So the bottom line is you can access the money, but it is not free money. So many people ask, why did the government do this? It is because before two-pot, people often cashed out the entire retirement fund and was left without a job because they needed the money. The government wanted to stop that. So now there's forced preservation on 2/3 of every new contribution. You cannot take that portion in cash when you change jobs. The savings pot is supposed to act like a pressure valve. You get controlled access to the 1/3 over time. When the system went live, a lot of South Africans did not ignore it. Within 10 days, SARS saw around 160,000 withdrawal applications. Billions flowed out of the funds. 1 year in, around 50 to 60 billion Rand has already been paid out. Younger members withdrew more, lower and middle income earners withdrew the most. High earners withdrew less because the tax thing was too high. Most money went to debt, school fees, home loans, and living costs. Only a small percentage went to emergencies according to surveys done. The second wave hit March 2025, a new tax year. Some people withdrew again. Many of the first round users returned for round 2. That's where the concern started. Pension as a ATM. Every rand you withdraw now is not just 1 rand gone. It's 1 rand plus decades of growth gone. If you're around 35 and you withdraw 30,000, that money could grow to around 120,000 by age 65 at conservative growth. If you're 55 and you withdraw 30,000, that might grow to 50 or 60,000 Rand over 10 years. Now compare two people. Same contributions, same earnings, same fund. The one never withdraws, the one withdraws every year. The one that withdraws will end up with about a third less money, and you will not have an option to take a lump sum at retirement because they already used that as savings spot withdrawals. So they would have to use the entire fund value to purchase a post retirement either living annuity or life annuity. So they had the same income, same contributions, but the different behavior gave them very different outcomes at retirement. So here's the twist. Even with the withdrawals, the two-pot system may still improve national retirement outcomes. Because the big leak was always full cash outs at every job change, that leak is now closed for two-thirds of the all new contributions. Some modeling shows that the national retirement assets could triple or quadruple over decades compared to the old system. It's simply because people cannot destroy their entire pensions so easily anymore. Here's a simple decision framework. Is this a real need or want? Are you dealing with debt, risk, eviction, education, or medical pressure? Or are you buying something you want? What is the interest rate on your debt? In many cases, we found that it's cheaper to borrow money because of the high tax level on two-pot withdrawals. And then what's your repair plan? If you take 20,000 today, how are you going to make it up to you in retirement? Will you contribute more later? And if you cannot answer these questions confidently, first slow down and just see if this is actually the best thing to do. Okay, so I think the important thing is not to treat your savings pot as a yearly bonus. Avoid early withdrawals unless necessary. Use it only for serious needs. Run the numbers first and have a rebuild plan. The two-pot system gives you access without blowing up your retirement. For many, it has been a lifeline. For others, it has become a temptation. The system is not good or bad by itself. Your behavior decides that. If you see your savings pot as part of your retirement first and an emergency tool second, you protect your future income. If you build a separate emergency fund, you avoid touching this one. And if you use it with a plan. Your future self depends on the choices you make today. Two-pot makes those choices flexible. Now the hard part is using that flexibility wisely. Thanks for watching.